The Ashes of Jedha was the latest arc of the main Star Wars comic. Written by Kieron Gillen with art by Salvador Larroca, it shows us what happened to the ill-fated moon after Rogue One, and connects the Skywalker saga with the first standalone Star Wars film. Despite the damage done to Jedha, the Empire returns to desecrate the once holy moon even further. With the Death Star destroyed and a second on the way, they again require Kyber crystals. Commander Kanchar and Queen Trios of Shu Torun are brought in to lead the operation. Trios was introduced in the Darth Vader comic as the fledgling leader of a mining world, and her expertise is exactly what the Empire needs. She brings in a Continent-class crawler to harvest the necessary crystals. Meanwhile, Benthic Two Tubes leads what's left of Saw Gerrera's partisans in defense of Jedha. Luke, Leia, and Han show up to offer their help and try to mend the damaged relationship between the Rebel Alliance and the partisans. Luke learns about Jyn Erso and the other members of Rogue One. He begins to understand the chain of events and the sacrifices that led him to being able to make his 1-in-a-million shot on the Death Star. He wonders if he would have had the courage to trust the Force if he had known how many people died to get him there. A former disciple of the Wills asks Luke to visit the hole in the ground where the Temple of the Kyber used to be, and they head off while the rest of the team prepares to battle the Empire's crawler. They find that the Death Star's destruction has twisted the Force in that place, and the dark side takes hold of Luke's companion. I have to imagine that will influence some of Luke's future decisions regarding the dangers of the dark side, specifically that particular incident in The Last Jedi. When Luke returns, he sees that Leia and the others have received the technical readouts to the Continent-class crawler, and they devise a plan to stop it. They assault the craft, and Benthic is quickly injured. Han is forced into an actual leadership position for the rebellion, Luke faces off against Kanchar and beats him, and Leia is cornered by Queen Trios. But Trios reveals that she was responsible for leaking the plans to the crawler. She hates the Empire, but must keep her world and her people safe, so she offers to covertly send resources to the rebellion. The crawler is sabotaged and plunges to its destruction, while the rebels, Trios, and Kanchar all escape. Leia and her team leave the partisans on better terms and vow to rebuild. The Ashes of Jedha was the first arc of the Star Wars comic written by Kieron Gillen, who is taking over for Jason Aaron. I am happy to see this change. I was a big fan of the main Star Wars run in its early days, but I feel like it was starting to lose some of its charm. Gillen, who wrote the fantastic Darth Vader series, immediately steps in, shakes things up, and gives us a lot of connective tissue between the main saga and Rogue One. I remember in the early issues of the series I was saying, "Oh, that's cool," over and over. I hadn't said that in a while, but seeing Luke and company on Jedha, seeing them interact with Benthic, and tying it in with the Darth Vader comic had me saying, "Oh, that's cool," like I did 2 years ago. I think Kieron is breathing new life into the Star Wars comic, and I can't wait to see where he takes us next. I'm gonna try to be a little more consistent with my coverage of the comics. I've mentioned things out of certain issues occasionally in the past, but I'll try to cover individual arcs from now on. We'll see how it goes. Please let me know what you thought of today's video, and if you'd like to see more comic coverage like this. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out my Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.